Just like that, the Edmonton Oilers have back-to-back victories. They are 2-3 on the season. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show, live on location at Hudson's White Avenue. So good to be back here at Hudson's. We're going to be partnered up with them all season long. The Oilers 4-2 winners over the Nashville Predators to kick off a brief two-game road trip. Tom Gazzola with you. Hernan Salas back at ESTHQ. Matt Cassian, our game analyst, will be joining us in a couple of minutes. As always, text us your thoughts on the game, 780-218-9999, and then get into the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. I think after a day full of frustrations, we've got everything sorted out with our provider. Hopefully everything goes smooth and we are off and running. Yes, indeed. The Oilers 2-3 on the season. The Predators still searching for their first victory, falling to 0-4. GCL Diesel, by the way, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. I will say this. We've got delicious 6 o'clocker lager available here at Hudson's White, and then it is all-day happy hour. So if you're thirsty, maybe you want to celebrate an Oilers victory and you're close by, come on down to Hudson's White. Derek Van Diest is here. Shout out to VR Montenegro for hanging out with me all game long. All right, let's get Hernan Salas in here if Nanso's ready to rock. And I feel like I want to hear from him. He's back at EST Global HQ. Is it going to be a lot of this tonight, Nanso? Or are you going to be happy?
No, I'm going to own it. I was completely wrong about this game. I thought Nashville was going to roll. They're 0-3. They were playing at home. They needed to get their big boys going. I wasn't concerned about Pickard. I mean, whatever. It is what it is, but I was wrong. The Oilers probably played their best game, 5-on-5. We'll get to the power play soon here. They played a good game. Pickard was solid throughout. When Marchessault tied it there late in the second, they were able to find that goal right away. And the third down, that was textbook, man. They played well. Pickard made a big save there at the end on the near post, kind of a play from the behind the net there. So I'm going to be honest, Tom. Do you mind? Tom?
By all means, go for it.
Nashville does not look good. I'll give them the first. The Oilers came out, outshot them 9-0. The first 10 minutes was all Oilers. Then Nashville showed up for about 6, 7, 8 minutes there. The Nurse fight kind of turned the tide around again in that first period. But after that, I'll be honest. I did not like what Nashville showed tonight. I have a feeling they're going to have a tough time moving the puck from their back end outside of Josie. I think the mishmash of the lines there, like, you can't have Marchessault on your third and Stamkos playing with two young guys. I know you're trying different things, looking for a spark, but for me, it's just keep it simple. Put those guys together or put your best six together to make that top six. But, Tom, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I did not like what I saw from the Nashville Predators tonight.
Obviously, a team with a lot of changes as well. We've talked about that, about the Oilers and all the new players that have come into the fold. I think Nashville, you can say the same thing, especially impact players.
Yeah.
We watched Stamkos. He was fanning on those shots, Hernan, on that power play in the third period. An important one. They did get that one on the power play from Marchessault, his first as a Predator. I thought that was a really nice redirection on the 4-minute power play on the Podkolzin double minor, but outside of that, they did have a few like small bursts, I guess I would say. But like, if you look at this game as a whole, you're thinking about the Preds and you go, I didn't feel like they threatened a ton or consistently. Consistently might be the better word there. They did have moments, like I said, they had those small bursts where they looked a little bit dangerous when they did have those opportunities from creating some chances. Pickard stood the fort, and he was solid, making some really nice saves. I think of that O'Reilly save in the third period. That was important. Helped let the Oilers get that empty netter. Brett Kulak scoring his second of the game. But yeah, the Preds team, like, they're still in a situation where they're finding themselves. I think I'm putting it in a nice way here.
And that's saying too. I'm not taking any credit away from the Oilers. I thought they were really good 5-on-5. That was a veteran road win for them. They buckled down. They got good contributions from a lot of different players. Their goalie was solid. And this is saying they won 4-2. And Juicy Saros was pretty good in this game.
Yeah. He made some big saves. He was being tested, Hernan. I thought he was solid. He got peppered. He finished with, well, the Oilers had 36 shots on goal, so he would have faced 35 if you take away the empty netter. 31 saves, and there were some quality chances from the Oilers, and Saros is one of the best goalies in the game, and he had to stand tall for a Preds team that is in a situation where it's still figuring it out.
0-4. And did you see those hit stats? 28-3.
I saw them.
Come on, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
The Oilers weren't overly physical, but I'm pretty sure they had more than 3 hits.
Good point. Okay, we're going to get into that. Let's go into the game stats and the scoring summary. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a perfect segue, Hernan. As the Oilers win the game 4-2, that's the most important thing. They've got back-to-back victories. They now head into Dallas for Saturday afternoon's game against a very good Stars team that's off to a fantastic start. In the first period of this game tonight, Philip Forsberg opened up the scoring on a nice redirection, his second of the season from Roman Josi and Ryan O'Reilly, out-muscling Troy Stecher in front of Calvin Pickard. That goal coming at 11:46. The Oilers would answer before the period was up. Brett Kulak getting his first, just a clapper. Matthias Janmark the assist. Kulak at 17:39 into the second period we go. This is where the Oilers, you saw them having to, starting to sustain a little bit of pressure, playing a really simple road game. Not a sexy road game, just a simple road game, an effective road game. Jeff Skinner banging and crashing around the net. There was some chaos in front. I thought there was a good shift from Perry and Janmark, and then Skinner was out there, and Derek Ryan was out there, and it was in the time of changing up the lines, but Skinner ends up banking one home, his second of the season from Nurse at 10:50, after a nice move by Perry to sneak his way with a nice little tuck move to the front of the net from behind the net. It was 2-1 Edmonton at that point. Then Jonathan Marchessault, like Hernan was talking about, getting a goal on the power play, his first as a member of the Predators. Really nice redirection on a feed from Roman Josi, and Juuse Saros actually picking up an assist on that one at 17:45. The Oilers were trying to kill off a 4-minute double minor to Vasily Podkolzin. Now, here's what I really liked about the Oilers tonight, the bounce back after that equalizer. Connor McDavid scores at 18:29. So what is that, 44 seconds later to make it 3-2 for the Oilers. Ekholm and Draisaitl the assist. They were buzzing. They went right back at the Predators, and it ends up being a nice goal. Actually, just not a nice goal, a nice greasy goal. Didn't have to be pretty. It was a greasy goal. McDavid gets it, his first of the season, 3-2 Oil. And then in the third period, even though Nashville did have a few opportunities, generally the defense was there to clear out the rebounds. Calvin Pickard would have to make good saves. He would be up to the task. And then at 19:24, Brett Kulak makes it 4-2 for Edmonton into the empty net. Kulak, second of the night, second of the season, first multi-point game or goal of his career. Goal night of his career, I should say. Shots on goal tonight as we go through the game stats. 36-27 in favor of Edmonton. I think this, off the top of my head, is the first night the Oilers lose the face-off battle. 54.5 to 45.5%. The power play, this is going to be something we're going to talk to Cass about. 0 for 4 tonight, so another 0 for the man advantage. And then the PK goes 2 for 3, so it leaks one there, but that was on that 4-minute. And I really like the redirection Marchessault made. Yes, I would like to see Calvin Pickard stay on that post. I'm not a goalie guru by any means, but good redirection by Marchessault out of the air. And then, maybe Pickard, if he stayed on that post, delayed it for a split second, would have gotten a pad or a toe on it. But maybe I'm asking too much. the goalies in the crowd listening or watching can chime in on that one. Hits. Here's where Hernan was pointing this out. This is from the game officials, off-ice officials at the rink at Bridgestone Arena. 30 for Nashville, 8 for Edmonton. Shots on goal. Blocked shots, 18 for the Oilers, 15 for the Preds. Giveaways, 21 for Nashville to Edmonton's 18. And then Nashville ends up with 5 takeaways to Edmonton, 1. So make what you want of the stats. It is different. I've said it on this show. I said it on the old show at the old station. The off-ice officials are different arena to arena. Yes, there's a set of standards, but whether or not that group over in Nashville adheres to them, as well as the ones perhaps to Edmonton at Rogers Place, to Vancouver, to Minnesota, it's different. So officially 30 hits for the Nashville Predators to 8 for the Edmonton Oilers. Hernan, go ahead, because I know you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Cassian right away here as well. But yeah, that's because on the TV with 3 minutes left, it was 28-3 in hits, and I was like, "There's no way it's okay." You can out hit a team by a large margin, but that's just ridiculous. And on the March and still goal, credit to Juicy Sorrows with the heads up play on the line change. He got the puck up the ice pretty quick there, and the Oilers were just a tad late there. And I also want to give a shout out to old guy Corey Perry. A lot was made when they signed this guy, and they're like, why are you bringing him back? You could have kept this guy. Corey Perry's been excellent this season, and I thought tonight he was excellent. He had that one play where came from behind the net in front, kind of created that. Was it the first goal, the Skinner one? Yeah, it was. So I just want to give credit to Corey Perry. He's been one of the better forwards through the early part of this season, and we'll bring Cass in here.
Hello, Matt Cassian. What did you think of that? Do you want to hit on the literal hits on the stat sheet really quickly tonight, what you make of that? Because I know in Minnesota, Cal Clutterbuck always seemed to have a few extra hits, and it might have been while you were there too.
No, absolutely. He'd get the extra ones there, and then the Islanders were the worst. That had a reputation as being the worst in the league for giving hits to the home team and not giving any to the visiting team. Like where you could run someone over while they still had the puck and not get anything, and it's like Matt Martin would breathe in your general direction, and he had 5 hits. Like that's some rinks are just like that, and it depends on the official, depends on the night. Maybe they went out to Tootsie's beforehand and you had a little bit of dinner and who knows what else, and listen to some live music and mess with their vision or something, because like they didn't. Now, with that being said, Edmonton wasn't overly physical. It's not like they had 30 hits and they missed all of them. They weren't overly physical, but they had a couple more than that. So yeah, we can laugh at that number. It's a little bit of a joke. At the end of the day, I don't think Edmonton had to be that physical, guys, because they controlled so much of the play 5-on-5. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a solid road game, Cass, honestly. Like it felt to me at times like a lot of the games we saw from the Oilers last year, especially when they got out of the funk of that 2-9-1 stretch, and when they started to dial it up and play solid hockey, they executed their passes well. Like it seemed like they were connecting, and the simple things that build a solid game, they seem to do tonight. Like I was wondering to myself, I don't know what you guys think. Is it because they're out of Edmonton, away from Rogers Place, and the shine of a new season isn't really as bright because they're in someone else's barn? That was something I wondered to myself, and I'm curious to know what you guys think, because to me, that was a pretty solid road game overall. I don't know. Hernan, Maddie, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I just want to say what I liked about the Oilers tonight was their start. They were ready to go. Like they were out shooting them 9-0, 10 minutes in. They had a little bit of a lull there for 5-6 minutes and turned it around with the Nurse fight. So for me, Cass and Tommy, I think the start was really good for this team on the road. Kind of set the tone right away.
Yeah, this start was good. Guys, do you think they looked like a fast team today?
Much
faster,
much quicker.
Didn't they look so much quicker? And it's because of that execution where they weren't bogged down. Like it wasn't the guys were, all of a sudden became faster skaters tonight. It wasn't that they went and did a couple sessions of power skating with skating coach David Peltier, although they may have, and Peltz may have worked his magic. He's a wonderful teacher, wonderful coach, wonderful person. Yes. Love him. But the likelihood of him reconstructing everybody's stride in a matter of a couple days is not possible. So it wasn't him. What happened? They executed their passes primarily in the defensive zone to come out. They got way more simple, as we saw in all the Oilers' goals. Like there was not. Now, power play we'll talk about. So yes, we're pushing that to the side. But 5-on-5, they weren't just trying to make pretty plays around the perimeter. There was so much more pucks to the net, bodies to the net, and they got rewarded for it. And the big guns did too in McDavid's goal.
780-218-9999. Text us your thoughts on the Oilers tonight. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let us know your thoughts via the nasty chat. Of course, the Oilers 4-2 winners over the Nashville Predators. First road game of the year, first road win of the season. They're off to Dallas on Saturday. And we should talk about that power play. But to me, overall, Cass, a responsible road game. I think, 9 times out of 10, you're taking that one. I pointed it out in the second period. I'm like, they're playing responsibly. They're playing solid. They're making the right plays. But it wasn't a perfect game by any means, and you kind of alluded to it. The power play. Well, do you want to start on the PK, or do you want to push the power play, or do you want to go on the power play
let's
right now?
Let's go to the power play.
Go to the power play.
I kind of mentioned it, so let's jump there.
Okay, let's go to it. 0-for-4 tonight. Continues to struggle. So after that 0-for-4 tonight, the power play this season, as I go back to my stats from earlier in the day, is now at a whopping 1-for-13 on the year, Cass. And that's going to fall from where it sat earlier at 24th. It was at 11.1%, now 1-for-13. What's not happening on that power play outside of them not scoring?
Yeah, well, I'll preface this conversation by saying I'm not concerned about the power play over the course of the year. I'm not. They will be fine. Other teams haven't figured it out. They've been doing the same stuff with a few minor tweaks the last number of years. Teams didn't all of a sudden wake up, and coaches didn't just wake up and aha, I know exactly how we're going to shut this down every single time. And by the way, I'm going to call every other team in the league and tell their coach how to shut it down. And now everybody's going to do the same thing, and they're never going to score again. That didn't happen. So don't worry about it. I'm not. Now, if we're looking at what has gone wrong to this point, you guys already touched on it a little bit. Hernan, you already touched on that a little bit. They're not getting pucks to the net. We look at the goals that they scored 5-on-5 today. They had pucks in the net and bodies to the net. The second you run into challenges on a power play and it starts to build a little bit, you have to simplify, get the puck to Bush, transition across the ice, get the puck back to Bush, and let him rip it and get bodies to the net. There have been way too many times, even already, where they're trying to force the seam plays too early in the power play, where you're 15, 20 seconds in and then you're trying the seam play. Well, in tonight's instant, Nashville is set up with sticks and lanes. Your percentage likelihood of it working is not there.
Right.
Other thing, number 2, and then I'm going to get your guys' comment on this one as well, I think would be good to hear. I feel like their zone entries have not been clean. Like they have not entered the zone and challenged for possession and put teams back on their heels. And I'll use that 5-on-3 even as an example of that, where even from a setup standpoint, it just never felt clean in zone. So there's a little bit of that execution part to it too. But I think, zone entries haven't been clean. And then lastly, just over trying to be pretty in the offensive zone.
Okay, zone entries. I'm glad you brought that up. I want to see what you guys think of this. To me, the last, let's call it 4 or 5 years of Oilers power plays, it feels like there's been this cat and mouse game. It's been, McDavid and the Oilers and their power play versus the rest of the league trying to throw in different wrinkles, keep everybody guessing, and then it seems like, as a whole, the league kind of catches up. The best PKs figure out the tendencies of the Oilers, and then it's up to McDavid, Draisaitl, and co. to find out and create a new layer or wrinkle to throw the opposition off. And it feels like right now, on top of, zone entry wise is what we're focusing on, not necessarily the in zone stuff. I think the league has the Oilers kind of figured out in terms of
I disagree.
entries. Why is that? They can't get in clean.
Yeah, I think it's execution. It's not the zone entries. I mean, you see tweaks and you see changes, but most teams are running a very similar zone entry. And as far as pretty much every other single power play I've watched, like all the other teams are doing the same thing. I think it's execution. It's not that other teams are being so great on it. It's just a lack of execution, in my opinion.
Rude.
Tommy,
Sorry.
the first
Hernan could be the arbiter here.
The first what is it? Disagreement on the post game show. Cass, once they do set up, are you finding that maybe they're too predictable? Like they're still looking for McDavid across ice to Draisaitl? Like what are you seeing once they set up?
Well, they're holding on to the puck too long, either waiting for the perfect play, or they're trying to squeeze it through everybody. Again, a seam play. So the McDavid to Draisaitl play that we see often and frequently, they're trying to force it all the time. Like how many times on the power plays today did we see a Bush bomb? I mean, I'm trying to think. I wasn't counting them during the game, but I can't think of any. And it's possible he may have had one, may have had two. I'm not sure. But guys, it's the predictability is because you keep trying to do the same thing instead of just, again, rotating it to the simple plays. It's just trying to be too fancy. And we saw that 5-on-5. Then we saw 5-on-5 tonight, them get a little bit simpler and things started to work. And that opens up other stuff on the ice. And it especially does on the power play because the other team just has to respect the shot. They have to respect different plays instead of, just basically keeping their sticks in the middle of the ice and just shutting down everything cross box that you're trying to do.
Guys, would you guys... Like, I agree with Cass where I'm not too worried about power. They're going to find their groove. They're just far too talented. They've been doing it for far too long. But in a game like this, guys, do you have an appetite where you finally have guys that can produce on a second power play? Arvids and Skinner. You can throw Corey Perry in there. Was this the game to kind of be after that third power play and say, okay, guys, we're going to start the next one with the second power play just for one game? I'm not saying you do it always because it was obvious that the first unit wasn't feeling it. They couldn't enter the zone cleanly. They couldn't do anything once they set up. So do you guys think there's an appetite for now to kind of hold them accountable a bit within the game and say, hey, if you're not going, we're going to run with these guys for a bit?
Hey, that would be ballsy before we pass it off to Cass because I want to hear what he has to say. And we've seen Chris Noblock with a couple of ballsy moves in skipping over Leon on a couple shifts that last game in the third period. And then putting Jeff Skinner on the third line for practice. But those are subtle. They're messages. They're not big ones, but I don't know if he started power play 2 on any power play. I think that would be a big cojones move. Don't you think, Cass?
Yeah, it'd be huge. By the way, that Skinner play seemed to work, hasn't it?
100%.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
We could call it for one practice and make fun. It was 1 for 1 practice, but hey, the guy woke up and he's probably been the best Oiler throughout the start of the season. I would say most consistent, certainly. I don't think it's like you would have started PP2, but this is where I would have went with it, and I was a little surprised. No, you had the 5-on-3. Like, yeah, you had the call. The first unit had been on the ice for basically 1:45 to 2 minutes already at that point. You get the 5-on-3. Now, I get you want to you call the timeout, use the timeout. Great. Good decision.
Yep.
Get some rest for your top guys. It's a 5-on-3, even if it's a short one. Give them a little bit of rest and give them a go. But I would have been telling them at the bench, and this is where you should have done it. I would have been telling them at the bench, 5-on-3 is over. You lose possession, all of you are off. Like, you've been on the ice for 3 minutes already at this point now. Yeah. And they didn't change immediately. They had another 1 or 2 cracks at trying to get into the offensive zone. And I'm like, these guys are tired. It should have been communicated. Now, maybe it was, and the players just did something different. Sometimes they do that. But there would have been a little bit of an opportunity there. And I think, guys, if the power play does continue to struggle, I think that the case for not letting them have a crack at it every once in a while, even if it's not to start the power play, but just earlier on in the power play, it could be there. It could be there. Now, it's going to depend on the game, going to depend on the situation, going to depend on a lot of things, but it could be. How comfortable are you guys with the second PP unit being out there more often?
Honestly, Cass, the Oilers have scored some greasy goals of the, games that they have put up numbers in terms of goals where it's not shut out or they only score 1. And a lot of them are grease goals, banging home garbage. And to me, power play 2, the type of personnel it possesses on it and the simplicity in which they attack when they're actually out there would lead more to scoring those simple, greasy goals that we saw tonight. And I feel like you see when power play 2 gets the garbage time, they dump it in and then they hustle to get in there on the forecheck, and it's just pass, shot. It's not the fancy this, that. And I think that's a good kind of curveball to throw at other teams, expecting like the onslaught from the power play 1 unit that's historically good. I don't mind power play 2. I think there's some dangerous weapons on it.
It's the most dangerous power play 2 they've had in recent memory, right? So I'd feel totally comfortable with it. And they're running 2 defensemen on that one's a little bit of a different look. And Dusty said it, and Cass brought it up. Like on that 5-on-3, Bouchard was on for 4 straight minutes, guys.
Yeah.
I know,
and he was gassed trying to bring it up the ice.
Yeah,
you know he's exhausted.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got Cass for a couple more minutes here. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Let's see what we've got here. This one out of Calgary says, another good game by Skinner. He's been their best player so far, in my opinion. So that's something that Cass mentioned as well. Skinner should replace Nuge on power play 1 if Nuge doesn't start picking it up. Would you do that, Cass?
I'd consider it. If they continue and they need a shooter, and I love Nuge, absolutely love him, and have loved him on the power play. He fits in really well there. But giving Jeff Skinner a little bit of a look. I mean, guy's a 30-goal scorer. Does it all the time. Would give you a little bit of a different look. I don't know if I'd be absolutely rushing out to do it, but I think it's something you got to chew on, isn't it?
I think it would rock the boat. That's for sure.
Probably. You might not be able to do it, I guess. Yeah. Now that you say it, it may be something you can't do because it would just upset too many of the veteran guys.
I understand. It's not like Skinner's not a veteran.
Yeah, and not like he can't score goals. So, I mean, you may be a little poopy pants about it, but at the end of the day, Jeff Skinner's a darn good player, and he's been putting pucks in the net already. And if he gives you a better chance of doing it, Hernan, wouldn't you put him in?
I would, especially the way he's playing. But you worry about that, making the big boys upset because these guys have been together for 3-4 years now. So you want to send a message, though. That's sending a message. But I think there's an appetite for it, 100%. But I'll be honest, I just can't see Noblock making that move to a historic power play.
Here's another text. Mike from Thunder Bay says, is it weird to say that the Oilers power play has become predictable? Teams seem to know exactly where the puck's going. No one looks like a threat. With so many weapons, there doesn't seem to be a lot of danger. I think early on this season, Mike in Thunder Bay, yeah, I would agree with that. Do you guys disagree, or is that a fair statement from Mike?
Well, it's fair in that it hasn't been dangerous. It's fair in that maybe they haven't executed, but I don't think, and maybe they have chosen plays that are predictable, but overall, there are so many options that power play has, and when they are executing cleanly, you're giving up something. You are giving up something. Now, historically, the last couple of years, most teams give up the McDavid to Draisaitl attempt for the backdoor play because you have the highest likelihood of blocking it, stopping it, getting a piece of that puck. It's a lowest success rate out of what you give up. But when Edmonton's actually clipping along and executing, it's really hard. You will give up something. You will give up something, whether it's Bouchard skating in and blasting one, whether it's McDavid walking off the wall and skating in and blasting one, whether it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins throwing one to the net or McDavid faking like he's going to shoot walking off the half wall and throwing a puck back door. You have so many options out there. It's just, they've continued to try the same play over and over and forced it. They've been forceful with it. But it's not predictable as a whole. There's too many weapons. There's too many weapons, and you predictable all you want. Sorry if I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, guys, but how many goals does Alexander Ovechkin have, guys?
0.
Is he?
He had 0 going into
his
tonight.
Career.
Oh, 800
in his career.
40.
A lot.
Right. Now, where have 600 of those been from?
The same spot.
The exact same spot. And how good was Washington's power play year after year after year? And it's guess what their power play is going to be? Get the puck to Ovi and let him rip it. everybody and their dog and their cat and the squirrel that lives in the tree outside knew what was going to happen on their power play. So it's like you can know, but if you have a player that's able to execute what they're trying to do, that's at that elite caliber level, you can know all you want, and they're still going to find a way to make the plays and get the job done. And that's what Edmonton hasn't done thus far with their power play. Now, I'm not concerned about them being able to do it. I think they get there. They've just tried to force too many plays. They haven't executed well. They haven't been clean on their entries. But guys, the power play has not all of a sudden got too predictable. They're doing very, very, very minor variations of the same thing they've been doing, and it's had a ton of success the last couple of years, and it will have a ton of success moving forward. So anyways, there's rant over.
Okay, stop yelling at me, Cass.
Going for an SD.
Okay, I like it. 780-218-9999. Text us. GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Tom Gazzola live on location. Hudson's White Avenue. It is all day happy hour, and then they have 6 o'clocker as well, which is fantastic. Cass in the satellite studios, Hernan over in the EST HQ. I'm going to throw one more at Cass before we say goodnight to him, because he's trying to stay healthy. You got a bug going around that house. You got the 4 little ladies in there, and you need to stay healthy, Cass. You got the cardigan on earlier. You got the hoodie going now.
You got the hoodie on now. No, yep. I can feel it in my throat. My wife has spread the pestilence. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm holding on and just trying to get good sleep so it doesn't get any worse than it already is. But we're hanging in there.
We'll bring it in with this one. The Caps beat the Dallas Stars tonight. Ovechkin did not score. Just for your update on Ovechkin, I was right. He still has 0 goals. In his career, he's chasing Gretzky, obviously. This Dallas team, 4-1. Edmonton faces it on Saturday. I know people were circling that game on their calendar going, that's going to be a scary one if the Oilers get through Nashville. Well, guess what? The Oilers got through Nashville with their most solid game, most responsible game of the year. Now they go to Dallas against a team that is coming off its first loss of the season to not one of the strongest teams in the league in a Washington Caps club that people are like, they might be okay. So, Cass, how do you look at this matchup for Saturday afternoon?
Well, Tom, Dallas is still really good, regardless of losing one game against a team that wasn't the best team in the league. I mean, we saw Edmonton lose to Chicago. We saw Edmonton almost lose to Philadelphia. There's so much parity in the league still these days. And it's not like Washington's a horrible team. They're not a great team. They're not going to be a Stanley Cup challenger, but they have enough players there where they can still burn you a little bit. Guys, Dallas is really, really good. They are really, really good. And them losing today to Washington hasn't really tainted that in any way. They still have a +6 goal differential. They still have they're a pretty complete team, a really fun team to watch too. So it's going to be a battle. You have to have that same type of tenacity that I think we saw today if you want to win that hockey game.
Oh, there we go.
No, he's good. He's good.
Okay. All right.
I think he's good. Cassie, you still there? I think he froze.
All right. We're going to say good. Yeah, okay. That's our game analyst, Matt Cassian. Cassian, it looked like it froze up there. Rest up, big boy, and sweat it out. I know. He's giving us what the hell happened. It's all good. Get your rest, Cass. Fantastic work as always as we roll on here. Thumbs up. Okay, he's all right. We'll talk to Cass. Cass is back next week. Brad Malone will rejoin us as analyst again on Saturday in for Cass. Hopefully he's rested and recuperated. He had a nasty cold last year that got him for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. So hopefully we don't get one of those. Knock on one. It was not good. It was very, very rough for him. And he had to battle through. So hopefully Cass is going to be okay. And Bugsy will be in again on Saturday. Okay, we're going to get to some text. I need to get to the turning point of the game before we get to your text. More with myself and Hernan Salas here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show, live on location, Hudson's White Avenue, all day happy hour here. All right, turning point of the game presented by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. At Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach, trusted by the best in the game. And we go back into the second period, and the Oilers had the 2-1 lead. The Nashville Predators get the equalizer on the power play from Jonathan Marchessault, and you thought to yourself, oh no, here we go. Maybe the Preds start to pour it on and get their first win of the season. Fret not, Oilers fans, because 44 seconds after the Marchessault goal, Connor McDavid scramble in front. He gets the stick on an Ekholm shot and then gets the rebound and bangs it home past UC Saros, his first of the season. Draisaitl, the secondary assist. A good, greasy goal. I like greasy goals, especially on the road. That one coming at 18:29 of the second period. Reestablished the lead, holds up as the game winner. To me, that is your turning point of the game, was Connor McDavid's first goal of the season. And the turning point of the game brought to you, as always, by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Nanso, what say you?
No, that's a good one. And, I felt bad for Cat. He was fighting it.
Me too. But it did freeze. Like, it wasn't just on my end. Like, it froze up, right? You and I were looking at each other like, is he okay?
Yeah, well, it was a little delayed with me, so it was a little weird there. But we got it figured out. So, And
bottom line, Cass was great.
We're going to let him go. Yeah, and just back to the game, Tommy, a lot of love for Darnell Nurse. I will say this. I thought he played well after the fight. But the first goal, he can't lose that battle to Gustav Nyquist. He can't, Tom. Like, he has the puck. He gets pickpocketed. It goes to the point. Boom, deflection. It's just those little plays Darnell's got to get out of his game, because once he dropped the mitts, which I surprised he did, because he didn't.
I'm glad he did.
No, it sparked the team. It got him back into the flow for the last 3-4 minutes, and it almost sparked him because he was solid for the rest of the night. But it's just those little things he needs to work out of his game. There was only one minus player on the back end. That was Troy Stetcher, but the rest of the defensemen all played, I thought, pretty solid. There was that one shift on a power play where Bouchard lost the puck like 3 times. And then it was funny because then Nashville took a penalty holding Bouchard behind the net.
I know.
But, I mean, he's just got to find that way. And just seeing the inbox and the nasty chat, there's a big appetite for Skinner and Perry to replace Nugent Hyman on the power play.
It's not going to happen, guys.
Not two.
You're talking about a 100-point guy 2 years ago and a 50-goal man last year. They're not going to replace him with Skinner and Perry right now. If they did, that, like, I would just call that wishful thinking. I understand why people want that. It's just they won't do it.
And Gag says on the inbox at 780-218-9999, fellas, tough to pull Nuggy off power play 1. He does so many little things well. Great at keeping pucks alive along the boards and distributing the puck. I wouldn't consider it anytime soon. And that's a good point. I mean, none of us see this happening, but with the struggles of it and Nuge not being at his best right now, I get why some people want to see Skinner there. This one from Teacher Arlo. Boys, Nuge isn't the shooter on the power play, so why replace him with a shooter? Good point. Skinner's more of a shooter.
You have options, which is such a good problem to have. And I understand the rush. Like, I totally understand why. Like, you got, okay, here this guy's going and that guy's going. Perry and Skinner, those guys are going right now. They're leading to success, whereas Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, slow start to the season for them. So you look at that and go, let's solve this problem. You're a fan of the team. You want them to have success. Let's solve this problem. Quick fix. All right, get those 2 guys that are playing well, plug them in over there for the guys that aren't going good on the power play, and we should have a solution. I understand that, but there's layers to it. There's, ramifications. It would rock the boat, like I said, too. I don't think they're going to do it, but I get why you'd want that. That's all I'm saying.
Maple Jet says the video feed must still be wacky. Sounded like Hernan just said there's a lot of love for Nurse and Tanasi. There is, though, and it's good.
Nurse tonight, Nanso. 1 point. He got the assist on the goal. He was +1. Had the fight against McCarron. 21-26 time on ice. 3 shots, 3 blocks, 2 giveaways. So overall, that stat line indicates a good night. And then you know what? The emotional boost, too, from these fights that they're having. Like, to the people that don't think fighting belongs in hockey, sorry, you're wrong. We've seen this Oilers team respond to a couple of fights in the last 2 games, and they've led directly to wins because it gets guys going. It just does. What do you got, Hernan?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think it's a big part of the game for me still. And you said it, like it turned the Philadelphia game around. In this one, it was a little bit different because it just gave the Oilers their groove back, right? It was still, the game was still there. They weren't losing, but I liked it. Now, you don't want Darnell Nurse fighting a big guy like that because if you lose, and listen, I know Darnell Nurse has some warts in his game still. He's working his way through it. He's struggling sometimes, but you lose Darnell Nurse, you know, it's not going to get better. As crazy as it is to say that, because we are giving him credit for about 50 minutes of this game. It's just that first goal. You see the puck battle that he lost. He cannot lose that puck battle.
But what about Stetcher on that one? He gets out-muscled by Philip Forsberg, and you go, well, why can't you get his stick? Yeah. That's what I was looking at, and I was talking, and I'm like, is that on Stetcher? Like, could he not have out-battled Philip Forsberg? But then, you know, I suggested it to someone, and they go, well, it's Philip Forsberg, first of all, great player. Secondly, he's like 3-4 inches taller than Troy Stetcher. And you go, okay, well, he loses. That's a mismatch. I understand. So nice tip by Forsberg. I thought the goals that Nashville scored tonight were actually really nice. They took advantage of their opportunities, and skilled players made it happen. Marchessault and Philip Forsberg scoring against you on any night, I'm going, well, they're pretty damn good. So,
Tommy, what did you make of Stamkos night? Now he remains with 0 points so far.
I did not notice him. I didn't notice him. I noticed him fanning on the one-timer on the power play.
Yeah.
And then just they showed the replay of it. I'm like, he doesn't look comfortable. So, yeah, I mean, when you're with one team for how many years was he there? Since 2008. So 14 years, 2 championships, 3 runs to the final. There's an adjustment period. An adjustment period.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it just an old dog, a vet guy who's been in one place for so many years getting to go to a new team and figuring the stuff out? Is that just it?
It very well could be, honestly. But once he figures it out, I would be very leery of the Nashville Predators and Steven Stamkos.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, I said it in the opening. And they probably will turn it around. There's far too much talent on that team, Tommy, but I did not like what I saw tonight. Like, I didn't see a team that had, like, a lot of chemistry. I didn't see a back end that can move the puck. They're lucky they have Juicy Saros, because that game would have been a lot worse without him. Like, they have an elite goaltender that's going to get him out of a lot of trouble, but outside of that first pairing with Fabro and Josie, it's tough, because all the respect in the world for Luke Chen for what he's done, 1,000 games tonight, but when he's on your second pair, you got some issues, Tom.
Yeah. They're probably going to be in the market for a defenseman come the deadline too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about the Oilers fighting for a guy trying to get someone out of whatever city's looking to offload, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear if we're hearing about Nashville trying to do the same thing, and if the Oilers and the Preds are in on some of the same guys, because they need to shore up their back end, right side in particular as well. The Oilers got a lot of opportunities tonight, and they peppered UC Saros. They almost had 40 shots. You know, good on the Oilers for doing that. And then if you're a Preds fan, you're probably thinking to yourself, like, this team defense needs a little bit of work.
Sarah Cole.
Share your thoughts. What do you got?
Wine was a great idea tonight. Wine's never a bad idea. Here,
who had wine?
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah did. How about this one? I want to read this one from Mark. I was laughing when I read it. Mark via the inbox, 780-218-9999. Mark says, Tommy, can you ask Hernan about his pregame prediction saying not to start Pickard? Mark giving Hernan a hard time signing off on that one. All right, Nan, so explain yourself.
Mark, I owned it when we opened the show. I said I was completely wrong. I was like, Nashville's going to roll the Oilers tonight. And when I found out Pickard was getting the start, I said, okay, Nashville's going to win for sure. I said that. I'm not going to hide from it. But I just, honestly, Tom, at 0-3, I thought these guys were going to come out flying. We had we had their beat reporter from the Tennessean, Alex Dodery, and he said, like, yeah, he's like, but he did mention to Gager and I that every facet of their game wasn't doing good, Tom.
Right.
And it kind of sounded similar to Edmonton at 0-3. But you would think that with the new lines, they'd have a spark. They're at the home crowd. They're getting in a Stanley Cup contender in their building, right? And everybody wants to beat these guys. And I thought they fell flat tonight. And I know the game was close because the Oilers are still, even though they're getting better every game, I still don't think the Oilers are at their best. Because if they're at their best,
they're not.
They destroy this team. And honestly, if it's anybody else but Juicy Saros in net and outside of the 4 or 5 elite goaltenders, I think the Oilers win this by 3-4 goals.
Well, they win it by 2 tonight. They have their second victory of the season. Let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. If you're watching on YouTube, 4-2 Oilers victory. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas with you. Tom, live on location, Hudson's White Avenue, all-day happy hour here. Derek Mendes from NHL.com along for the ride. Hello, Derek. This was one of, 11 games on the schedule.
Yeah.
Tonight, let's go through the out-of-town scores. We'll go inside the Oilers locker room. Nancy, do we have some of that sound already?
We have Kulak, we have Skinner, Jeff Skinner, and we have Coach.
Okay, we're gonna go through the out-of-town scores. We're gonna keep reading text, and then we're gonna get to some of the sound out of Nashville. 4-1, LA defeats Montreal. 3-1, New Jersey beats Ottawa in our nation's capital. The Lightning get a 4-3 victory over the Golden Knights in Tampa. Vancouver 3-2 winners in Florida. Washington 3-2 winners at home against Dallas. Columbus 6-4 over Buffalo. The Rangers defeat the Red Wings 5-2 in Detroit. St. Louis in overtime 1-0 over the Islanders. You got the Oilers winners over the Preds 4-2. Same score in Chicago, except the Hawks defeat the Sharks. And then finally, this one is still underway. Seattle leading Philadelphia 5-2 late in the second period. When it comes to the NLCS, the Dodgers absolutely crushing the Mets 10-2, top of 9, 1 out. Dodgers having themselves a nice night. Hernan, any text you want to get to before we go inside the Oilers locker room?
I got to get to this one from Alexis Brito. Greetings from Chile. Go Oilers, go.
Chile!
I don't think that's marked on the map here, so we're going to have to...
We're going to get it up there.
I think that's for... They thought DVD was coming on, that's why.
DVD, someone from Chile just texted in. Oh, yeah, what did he say? Great response. Do you want to read it?
I'm just going to say the Columbia game was an embarrassment.
DVD says this. This is his only statement. The Columbia game was an embarrassment.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
He's laughing.
Who do you want to go to, Tom? Jeff Skinner, Brett Kulak, or Coach?
Let's hear from the guy who scored his first multi-goal game, Brett Kulak.
All right, here's Brett Kulak meeting with the media following tonight's 4-2 win in Nashville.
What's the thought on that offensive success for you?
Yeah, it's always fun scoring goals for sure, but I thought just, it's more fun when the team just kind of builds the game we did and feels like we're getting our game back on track. Start the season slow, it sucks, but just play the way we did tonight, start the road trip, it was awesome. So that's what I'm pretty much most excited about.
Building on that, it looked like you guys really played as a cohesive unit tonight. Did it feel like that out there to all of you as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we kept it pretty simple, and we kind of understand like it's not always going to go perfect, and I think that's put a lot of pressure on ourselves to start the season well. I think in the first few games we get so discouraged when it's not going perfect, but I thought it was like that tonight. We just kind of stuck with the game plan and just chipped away and found a way to get the puck in the back of the net.
There was a 5-on-3 in the second period that you guys weren't able to capitalize on, but it created momentum. How important was that? Because then it led to that Jeff Skinner goal and just what you guys created there.
Yeah, exactly. Momentum's a huge part of the game, and it swings back and forth. They had a little bit tonight, but that was a big point of the game. You're right, and just to build off that and hem them in the D zone, wears them down, and it's not fun playing in the D zone, and so and then to get a big goal after that was really good.
What'd you think of Calvin Pickard?
Yeah, he's good. He's always steps in there and gives us a chance to win, and that's kind of what we can count on him for. And he's great. It's not an easy job, so he's a big part of the win tonight for sure.
Yes, indeed. Calvin Pickard, 25 saves on 27 shots. Brett Kulak, a pair of goals tonight, +2, 17-26 time on ice. He also had 2 shots, 2 blocked shots, 1 giveaway as the Oilers win it 4-2. I got to get to this one from Twitter, Mary. when I was talking about Stamkos, Twitter Mary noted and caught me saying 14 years in Tampa for Steven Stamkos. She goes, that's 16 years, Tom, not 14. That's Rashog math. Well played, Twitter Mary.
Damn.
Well played.
Damn.
I know. Well played. I think that's funny. All right, Natso, anything else? Do you want to go inside the room one more time?
Sure. Do you want to go to Jeff Skinner or Coach?
Yeah. Let's hear. You know what? Let's hear from Jeff Skinner.
Perfect. Here's Jeff Skinner in the dressing room after their 4-2 win over the Preds.
Seemed like you guys are playing as a cohesive unit tonight. Did it feel like that out there to you as well?
Yeah, I think so. They've got some skilled guys that are playing pretty hungry. They're looking to take advantage of opportunities, and I think we did a good job of limiting them. And then when they did have some opportunities, we closed them up as quick as we could.
The 5-on-3 in the second period, you guys weren't able to capitalize on that specifically, but moments after you were. How important was it for you guys to build momentum on the 5-on-3 to be able to, create that energy for you later?
Yeah, I think it was only 15 or 16 seconds. So I think that the power play before that, the 5-on-4, they did a great job of sort of hemming them in. Obviously, they drew a penalty. So, I think our PP is going to start to click, and when you start seeing signs of sort of hemming them in, getting opportunities, I think it's a matter of time before pucks start going in for us.
Kulak's not a guy that's relied on to score goals, but nice to see him get on the score sheet not only once but twice tonight.
Yeah, it's great. I thought all the 6D played really well, but obviously him chipping in there at key times is nice to see, I think, and obviously we needed it, so it's a great game by him.
Jeff, you got the last touch on that puck, but how about that move from Corey Perry coming from behind the net?
Yeah, that was nice. I got a good view of it too. I think, obviously, I haven't played with him long, but I know him from around the league. He's pretty slippery around the front of the net, and he's got some really good hands. So, I think actually originally he was kind of looking for me backdoor and kind of had a tap in, but hit something in front. So. It was a great play by him to start it off. I think even just before he won the battle behind the net, so a couple of good plays in a row by him.
How do you kind of describe your game right now on a 4-game point streak? How are you feeling just offensively and how you're gelling right now with the team?
Yeah, I mean, today I kind of just, someone slid and put it in. I was just the last guy to touch it, but I think every day, every game I started to feel more comfortable. I think I felt better as it's gone along. I think guys have done a great job off the ice. Kind of feel welcome right away. But obviously, there's a lot of guys in here that have been together for a while, have some great chemistry, and sliding in, I think, to kind of play off some of those guys. I think it's going to be an adjustment, but I think it's gotten better every time I've been out there, and hopefully can keep building.
All right, there's Jeff Skinner picking up a goal tonight. Skinner's stat line is that one goal, 13:04 time on ice, even 3 shots, and that is it. But he continues to play well, and you know what? When he's putting the puck in the net, not costing the team in his own zone, I think people are pretty happy with that, Hernan, because that's what he was brought in here to do. Be a point producer, goal scorer, and so far he is delivering. I saw somebody in the nasty chat that wants to hear from Chris Noblock. Was Noblock short tonight too?
Let me double check.
Let's have a look at that.
Give me a sec here. He's only 3 minutes, so we can definitely go to Coach Noblock.
All right, let's go to Coach Noblock, and then we'll get to the player of the game, and then some final thoughts and some text, and we'll call it a night. How does that sound?
Perfect. Here's Coach K.
You got to work hard all night. Maybe it feels like even more of an achievement to get that to start your road portion of the schedule.
Yeah, overall, I thought we played a pretty good 60 minutes. For them to tie it 2-2, thought we could have been up a few more. They scored on that end of the power play. And, our top line responds and scores immediately after. And then in the third period, I thought Nashville definitely had the better period. That was their strongest push. And, I thought, we knew it was coming, and we, I thought we played strong and just responsible.
The power play in the second period when there was a brief 5-on-3 as well. How much did you find that momentum helped contribute to what came next with the Jeff Skinner goal?
Yeah, well, ideally it would have been a quick 5-on-3 goal and another 5-on-4. That's what we're calling the timeout and planning. But we've got a couple goals late after the power plays expired from that second unit, which has been very important for us. And our top unit, I think, have had some good looks, and it's only a matter of time before they're putting pucks in the net.
What do you think of how Jeff Skinner's looked as an Oiler?
I think he's been really good in the last 3 games. Anytime a player comes into a new team, there's always a transition period of getting used to his role, the new systems, new coach, a new message. But these last 3 games have been what we anticipated him coming back, and not only scoring 2 key goals in the last couple of games, but also really good on the walls, getting pucks out. So we're very happy with him.
Brett Kulak's 2-goal game. Any thoughts on that?
No, it's nice to see him get that those goals. Obviously, the first one was an outstanding shot, and then the next one just empty netter. But the bench was cheering for him a little more to go for that third, but he was a little cautious and not getting out of position. But anytime you see those role guys that don't necessarily get on the score sheet as much as other guys, everyone gets excited to see them have that success.
Has been the last victory, the turn point for the team, that they are now going to win more?
We got off to a slow start, and we're trying to get our game back. Training camp, it didn't go as well as we wanted with the games, and also the first 3 are regular season games. And as you see, teams that make a lot of changes with their personnel, and you see in Nashville, it takes a while. It's just everyone to find their system, find their rhythm. And also last year, I think we're also a little disappointed, a little thinking about last year's playoffs and even next year's playoffs, and not thinking about what we need to do now. But it's nice to see our last couple of games we've been focused and playing more of what we should be.
This Chris Noblock and Hernan, it sounded like an international reporter with that question at the end, and Chris Noblock, I think, gave him the most honest answer about his team.
Yeah.
All training camp and 5 games into the year, he summed it up. He admitted, we're thinking about next year's playoffs. We're dwelling on the year before's playoffs. We're kind of overlooking the regular season, and we had a bad preseason. In that last answer where he was giving that international reporter something, he said a lot. Well done.
He's probably like, I haven't seen you before, so I'm going to give you the...
No, there's some. You're getting the dirt. Screw these guys. They're here every day. They already know. But he said it.
We're kidding.
He said it. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Chris Noblock, the Oilers head coach, talking about his team's 2-3 start as they get a 4-2 victory over the Nashville Predators tonight at Bridgestone Arena. All right, Nan, so we need to get to the player of the game. Player of the game always brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, you know it. He's a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find the right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out because he's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city, and you can find him on DamonBunting.com. or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Let's pass it off to the Latino Heat for the player of the game.
I mean, Tom, how can you not go with Stony Plains' own veteran defenseman, Joaquin Gage's favorite player on the Oilers, Brett Kulak?
Yes.
2 goals, a +2, 17-26 for 4th most for defenseman. He had 2 shots and 3 blocked shots, but good for him. His first 2-goal game of his career. You have to give it to him. He's just a nonstop workhorse, an absolute beauty. So Brett Kulak, I think for the first time, maybe, Tom, is the
I love it.
Damon Bunting player of the game. Let's go.
Well done. Also, I like Captain Steve. I'm getting fact-checked left, right, center here on my Stamkos. I'm sorry, I don't follow Stamkos as well as most people. I should know these things. I should know that 2008 to 2024 is 16 years, not 14. Thank you, Mary. And then I completely forgot that the Lightning did go to the Cup final in 2015. Thank you, Hampton Steve. It was 2015. 2020, 21, 22. Don't worry. Please correct it if I mess it up because it's okay. We goof sometimes, and I forgot that the Lightning did go to the final in 2015 and lost. So, Hampton Steve, appreciate that very much.
You keep us honest on this show.
That's the best part, and it's okay. Like, I have stats in front of me. I have all these notes in front of me, but I forgot Stamkos went to the final with the Lightning in 2015, and Hampton Steve's got my back. Appreciate that very, very much. Library Pat texting in says, hey, TG and Hernan, the best part about an early start is I can listen to the Oil Stream post-game show live.
Nice.
8 o'clock weeknight starts are no bueno. Great to hear Hernan back where he belongs to. Library Pat, yes. We're very, very happy to have Hernan back where he belongs. I'll tell you this. We did 2 preseason games and we're 5 games into the regular season. Feels like we've picked up where we left off, Nan. So I know you've had to learn a few different things on the production side because it's not like 1260, but I think you picked it up right away, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been great, Tommy, being back with you and Cass and Gager and Belzy and getting to know Brad Malone and shout out to Maddie and YouTube Trev and the Big Z for helping this old man learn new tricks here as a producer when it comes to video, right? Because it's so much different than just doing straight up radio. So very grateful for it. And I'm loving it, man. This has been great. The Oilers start 0-3. You feel the fire right away from the fans. Now everything's a little bit more calmer. They've won 2 straight, and we'll see what happens on Saturday.
2 o'clock start. We're on the air at 1 p.m. I'll be live on location again. Hudson's Bourbon Street. Nanso, hopefully you come and watch the game with me because it's like 2 minutes away from our studios. So it's going to be great. Yeah. I do have a bunch of GCs that Connor from Hudson's White Ave gave me. I did dish out a few of them to those that came out and hung out. VR Montenegro was here. DVD, Derek Van Dies from NHL.com is here with me right now. So I'll have some more to give out on Saturday. Hopefully Hernan can make it out, and everybody that is needing to do something can come out and hang out with us and say hello, and we can watch the game together. It'll be a fun time. It's great to be back on location as well. All right, I see Phyllis is coming in here late. She says, hey, guys, checking in really late here. Congrats on the Oilers win. Yes, good road game for the Edmonton Oilers. Solid overall. It was not perfect, but they managed to put together a decent 60 minutes where they executed pretty good. Hernan, some final thoughts from you?
Yeah, good game. Their best 5-on-5 game. Concerns about the power play. I think Cass kind of nailed it there, saying like it's going to come around. I know a lot of fans want to see 1 or 2 tweaks. We'll see if that happens, if they continue to struggle. And then Stewie Skins in net on Saturday. It's going to be a fun game. Dallas is a hell of a team, Tommy, and I can't wait for that one. A nice afternoon one. We can enjoy our Saturday night. So I can't wait, man. This has been fun.
That's going to do it for the Oil Stream post-game show brought to you by GCL Diesel. Wow. The Oilers picking up a 4-2 win. We're back on location. It's going to be a fun year, and I think when Oilers fans are happy, we're happy too. So as long as the team keeps delivering victories, away we go. All right. For Matty Cassian and the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hit that thumbs up button on your way if you're on YouTube. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For all of us here at EST, ciao for now. Have a great night.